think it's time we got our Future Water Symposium off to a start. For those who don't know me, I'm Sue Harrison. I'm the Director of Future Water, and I'd just like to welcome you all for being here. There are a number of people who will still be coming in and out during the day. It's going to be quite a dynamic day. Welcome to all of you. So this is Future Water's first symposium, and I think it's a key moment in time for conversations. So as researchers, we're looking at new ways of grappling with new forms of knowledge and new ways of creating knowledge working in this kind of interdisciplinary space. And as a region, we are at a juncture of extreme water shortage. And so for us, the conversations about water and the new way of being are really critical. As I've said, thank you to all of you for making the time to be here. We are joined this morning by academics and students from 13 different departments and centers across UCT. We have the international students from 7 different disciplines from our course in the Global Summer School of the International Association of Research Universities with us. And we have industrialists, government representatives, city NGOs, and fellow academics from sister universities. We aim for quite an interactive day. We've got talks across topics around behavior, values, people, economics. We've got questions and discussions that are going to then be addressed by the panel. So we'll take all the talks and then we'll take the panel discussion. We've put sticky notes on the table so you can gather questions if you'd like to, both for the panel but also for the afternoon's round tables. We'd like you during the teas and the lunches to cluster the sticky notes onto the flip charts, which will be in the tea venue. And then those will help inform us on our activities later on. So I'm going to, with those few brief announcements, ask our Dean, Allison to do the introduction. So Allison is also a water lady. She's a chemical engineer and very involved in resource recovery and water repurposing.
Thank you very much, Sue, and a great welcome to all of you. It's a very elite and interesting audience we have here, and I'm sure you're going to have a very interesting day. As Sue's already mentioned, this symposium is happening at an opportune time and an opportune place, since drought and crisis are probably the main topics of discussion amongst Cape Townians right now. And I actually found an interesting document, which was a recent workshop called Future of Water, hosted by the World Wildlife Fund for Nature. And there they sketched out the deep crisis in South Africa's water. And they posed 4 scenarios, 3 of which were very, very bleak. So these scenarios were, number 1 was called Down the Drain, plenty of water but wasted due to poor infrastructure. And in fact, they estimate that it'll cost 700 billion rand to get South Africa's water infrastructure to a situation where it's properly maintained. Number 2 was called Crimea River, which is water scarcity hitting an inadequately prepared country. Number 3 was called illiquid assets, very scarce water resources limiting our ability for development opportunities. And I've already heard some rumors around maybe we're going to have immigration from Cape Town due to lack of water. Maybe we're going to start restricting tourists due to our inability to provide extra people with water. And number 4, the only sort of slightly positive one, was called Big Fish Growing Pond. And that was all about economic growth driving water demand. So it's a really good document. I recommend that you read it. But what I gathered out of that is all of them, positive and negative, had potentials to turn crisis into opportunity. And for us, that means opportunities to innovate, to find brilliant solutions, to be creative, and I think from a faculty point of view, to demonstrate leadership in this very complex territory. But I'd like to pose something else around this crisis, this water crisis, is it's much bigger than just water. And I'm sure I don't need to tell anybody here that. But that everything is connected. So we start with the so-called water energy nexus. And of course this intersection relates to how we need energy to actually create water. So that's energy for desalination, for treatment, for distribution. It takes water to produce the energy itself. So that's electricity, nuclear fuel, petrochemicals, hydroelectric power directly produced by water. So there's a symbiotic intersection there between water and energy. We then have to add food, so we have the water, energy, food nexus. And you probably know that agriculture accounts for 70% of global freshwater use. Food production and transportation, about 30% of global use. And I've recently seen some information around food waste and how food waste contributes to water waste. So we have a very interesting triangle or nexus or interconnected system of water, energy, and food. And I'd like to, I want to add something else about food, which is now we have the agricultural production and of course the water runoff, which needs to be treated. That requires energy. The whole biofuel space has created a positive injection into the energy nexus. So with these three, I'd like to add, I think, what's going to happen in this room and further, which is not just water, energy, and food, but intersected into this are the people, the economy, the politics, the law, the social, and the spiritual. So everything really is connected, and I think that this connection applies to us. People often think of researchers as solitary types, working alone, closeted in the labs, or maybe wandering in the woods thinking of good ideas and dreaming up solutions. I actually sat next to Professor Jeremy Midgley last night at a dinner, and he was telling me, we were comparing research areas, and he was telling me that he had a really good research area. He's a botanist, and so a lot of his research involves wandering in the fynbos, and one of his most significant papers came from observing I'm digressing now, observing a dung beetle burying a restio seed. So he took this restio seed and sent it to a colleague of his at KwaZulu-Natal who was an expert on scent. And they discovered that the restio seed has a scent that's very much like dung. So that unpacks a whole lot of interesting stuff which he publishes in Nature Plants. So I was rather jealous about what botany research looks like. But so that's an example of the researcher wandering in the fynbos thinking of bright ideas. But I don't think that's the way we want to do research in this forum. The real innovation and creativity that we're going to need to solve these complex problems, as you know, are about us collaborating, about becoming truly multi, inter, and transdisciplinary. So we need to connect. And that's why I wish the best of luck for this meeting, which is really important. I'm hoping that you're going to get a chance to talk, to listen, to wrestle and to grapple, but most of all, to connect. Good luck.
Thanks very much, Allison. That sets us off to a good start.